Hey ladies, Vanessa here, and I am bringing you today's Fit Tip Under 10, which is all about macros. Now, when I got into building out this presentation, I realized how much information there are about macronutrients out there. So this is going to be part 1, so let's get ready and dive in. Hey ladies, just as promised, bringing you a presentation on all things macronutrient style. This is going to be part 1 of everything macronutrient simply because as I started building out this presentation, I thought, there's no way I'm going to finish this in under 10 minutes. So this is going to be part 1. Make sure you join me next week for part 2. So before we get into what is a macronutrient, we first have to talk about calories. And you'll understand why here momentarily. But calories are units of energy. Your body needs energy, again measured as calories, to fuel all of your daily functions. Your metabolism is the process by which your body converts what you eat and drink into that energy. So where do calories come from? Well, here's your answer, and that is macronutrients. So all of the calories or energy that you consume on a daily basis are coming from carbohydrates, fats, and protein. These are your 3 macronutrients. So carbohydrates are one of the 3 macronutrients. For every 1 gram of carbohydrate you consume, you're actually converting that into 4 calories or 4 units of energy. So as you can see here, if you look at this food label, in this food label, there are 4 total grams of carbohydrates. So because for every 1 gram of carbohydrates is equal to 4 calories, we're going to multiply 4 times 4 and get 16 total calories. So out of the 20 total calories that's found in this food, 16 of those come from carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are one of the most feared macronutrients across the board when I speak to most women. They feel like if they consume any carbohydrates that they're going to gain weight, but that's simply not true. Really, any 3 of the macronutrients eaten in excess is going to cause weight gain. And you actually need carbohydrates. And what do you need them for? They actually are a main energy source. They aid in digestion and they help keep you feeling full. Fats. Fats are another one of the 3 macronutrients. So far we have carbohydrates, and your second macronutrient is fats. For every 1 gram of fat that you consume, you are going to be converting that into 9 calories or 9 units of energy. In this food label here, you can see that there are 8 total grams of fat. So in order to find the calories from fat, because 1 gram is equal to 9 calories, we take 9 times 8, which is the total grams in this food, and get 72. So out of the 230 calories in this item, 72 of those calories come from fats. Fats, just like carbohydrates, are essential to have in your diet throughout the day. And we need them for energy source. It aids in absorption of micronutrients and helps to keep you feeling fuller longer. And last but certainly not least, we've got protein. Protein is probably one of my favorite macronutrients to consume because it is an energy source. It helps keep you feeling fuller longer. And it actually helps build and repair muscle tissue. So if you are strength training or doing any form of activity, protein is really going to help supplement those workouts. For every 1 gram of protein that you consume, it's actually equal to 4 calories or 4 units of energy, same as carbohydrates. In this item here, this has 12 grams of protein. So in order to figure out the calories from protein in this particular item, we have to take 4 because for every 1 gram of protein consumed, we get 4 calories. So 4 times 12, and we get 48 total calories. Out of this 140 are coming from protein. One of the reasons I wanted to make this presentation is because I've been hearing a lot of buzzwords surrounding macros, calorie deficit, counting your macros, counting calories. And first, I wanted to provide you guys with some solid information about what is a macronutrient. Remember, macronutrients are carbs, fats, and proteins. They give you energy, and really that's where your calories come from. Now, when I wanted to highlight both the pros and cons of just tracking macros and calories, I actually was surprised to find myself coming up with a lot more cons than actually pros. And ladies, let me just tell you that tracking calories and counting macros is not the only way to manage your weight. There are, again, like I said, there are some really good pros and people can see really great success by doing this. But if you are tracking macros, tracking calories, you definitely need to be weighing all of your food out so that you are getting an accurate representation of what you're eating. It can ensure balance of nutrients. So if you are weighing your food and logging into MyFitnessPal, it's going to show you the different splits of macros found in each food. It can encourage healthier swaps. So for example, 2 ounces of pasta is pretty calorically dense, and that might make you want to switch to something like zoodles, right? Less calories, more nutrients in there as a whole. And it can encourage proper portion control. Again, when I was making this presentation, I was actually really surprised to find more cons when it came to tracking macros and counting calories. And one of those is being that it can be very time consuming. So when you get into using apps like Fitbit, like MyFitnessPal, you literally have to, for accurate representation, have to log everything that you are consuming or everything that you're eating. And that can be very time consuming. Again, like I had mentioned, you must weigh all foods for accuracy. So it's really important that if you're tracking macros, that you're actually weighing foods out so that you're getting an accurate representation. This can also be very time consuming, and some people can find it pretty annoying to have to weigh their food before they consume it. One of the other downsides of using MyFitnessPal and maybe some of the other apps out there is they have a large database of food from users, which could equal inaccuracy. Things like MyFitnessPal, people can actually input data in there again, so it might not be 100% accurate. Apps like MyFitnessPal also have a ability for you to scan food labels, and this one was news to me when I was doing research on this, but food labels can be up to 20% inaccurate, so there is a high discrepancy if you are eating a lot of processed foods and scanning those into MyFitnessPal. Also, I feel like tracking macros really can lead to you only focusing on total calories and not really looking at where those calories are coming from. Are they coming from mostly whole foods? Or are they coming from mostly processed items that you're scanning in there using a barcode? It's also challenging to know what calories are right for you. There's a lot of different factors that can play into what calories is most appropriate for you. Things like age, activity level, your job, your goals. That's all going to play a factor into it. So that can be kind of challenging. I also find that logging food into MyFitnessPal can be information overload. So if you're familiar with using these apps at all, it'll give you feedback throughout the day. And when you don't fully understand why the app is giving you that feedback, it can be very overwhelming and almost encourage you to feel like you're failing, when really it's just providing you with a lot of information. So how do you know what your calories and macronutrients should be? This is a really good question. I'm actually going to take some time next week to dive into this a little bit more in depth, simply because there's so many different factors that can play a role into picking out your calories and picking out your macronutrient split. So make sure you join me next week for next week's Fit Tip Under 10.